The rain came down in sheets, a relentless curtain that blurred the edges of the South Bronx. It was 3:47 a.m., and the cracked sidewalk outside the Velvet Lantern Motel glistened under the flickering neon sign that buzzed like a dying insect. Maya Williams stood behind the front desk, her hoodie damp from an earlier dash to empty the overflowing trash bins. The lobby smelled of stale coffee and lemon-scented floor polish, the kind that never quite masked the musty undertone of a building that had seen better days. She was halfway through folding a stack of threadbare towels when she heard it, a soft thud, like something heavy hitting the ground outside. Peering through the smudged glass doors, Maya squinted into the storm. A figure lay sprawled across the asphalt, half in a puddle that reflected the red glow of a nearby streetlight. For a moment, she didn't move, her breath catching in her throat. Across the street, two men in hooded jackets leaned against the shuttered liquor store, their faces obscured by shadows. One nudged the other, pointing toward the fallen man, and they started crossing the street with a slow, deliberate gait that made Maya's stomach twist. Their interest wasn't curious, it was predatory. "Sir, hey!" Maya called, already out the door before her brain caught up with her body. Rain soaked her sneakers as she splashed through the gutter, kneeling beside the man. Up close, he was older than she'd thought, mid-50s maybe, with a neatly trimmed beard and a tailored coat that screamed money. A luxury watch gleamed on his wrist, its face catching the light, and a leather wallet lay open nearby, its contents spilling into the wet street. His breath reeked of whiskey, sharp and heavy, but his eyes fluttered unfocused as he groaned. "Open!" Maya snapped, glancing up. The two men were closer now, maybe a dozen steps away, their hoods pulled low. She didn't wait to see what they wanted. "Nope, not tonight," she muttered, hooking her arms under the man's shoulders. He was heavier than he looked, but adrenaline gave her strength. She dragged him toward the motel's side staff entrance, his legs scraping faintly against the pavement as he tried to move with her. They slipped inside just as the men reached the sidewalk, their silhouettes looming through the rain-streaked glass. The hallway lights buzzed overhead, casting a sickly yellow glow on the chipped tile floor. Maya eased the man onto a bench by the laundry room, his head lolling to one side, soaked hair clinging to his forehead. His breathing was ragged but steady. She hesitated, then picked up his wallet, feeling a pang of guilt as she rifled through it for identification. A gold-trimmed business card caught her eye. Harvey Whitmore, CEO, Whitmore Holdings. Her breath hitched. Wait, that Harvey Whitmore? The name was familiar, a fixture in New York's real estate circles, a billionaire who owned half the city's skyline, or so the tabloids claimed. "Anthony!" she called to the front desk clerk, a lanky 20-something who was probably scrolling X on his phone. "Can you verify this ID?" Anthony shuffled over, his eyes widening as he scanned the card. "Holy hell," he whispered. "That's really him." Maya didn't waste time. She grabbed her phone and ordered a cab, her fingers moving fast. "I'm not letting him crash here, and I'm definitely not letting some scammy driver swipe his cards while he's out." 15 minutes later, a yellow taxi pulled up, its wipers slapping against the rain. Maya pulled a crumpled 50 from her own wallet, folded it tight, and pressed it into the driver's hand before he could protest. "Don't charge him, just get him home. He's out of it." The cabbie, a grizzled man with a Mets cap, raised an eyebrow but nodded. Maya helped Harvey into the back seat, his body leaning heavily against her. As she fastened his seatbelt, he mumbled something, his voice slurred but earnest. "You good people," he said, his eyes half open. "Don't forget, you're the kind that matters." She didn't respond, just closed the door gently. The cab pulled away, its taillights fading into the mist. Maya stood in the rain for a moment, letting the cold air settle her nerves. Her shoes were soaked, her hoodie clung to her shoulders, and the clock inside the front desk read 3:52 a.m., just another night at the Velvet Lantern, except it didn't feel like it. Back inside, she peeled off her wet hoodie, wringing out the sleeves over a sink in the staff locker room. The storm outside was breaking, and through the high window, she caught a glimpse of the first light of morning cracking the sky open, quiet, steady, irreversible. Something had shifted tonight, though she couldn't name it. Instinct, maybe, or a refusal to let one more person fall while the world looked away. She didn't know what drove her, but as she locked up and headed to her tiny apartment above the laundromat, the weight of Harvey's words lingered. The following Thursday, Maya was folding cocktail napkins at the motel's small bar, the lunch rush still an hour away. The bell above the entrance chimed sharply, and she didn't look up, assuming it was Mr. Travers, the regular who always demanded extra lemon in his iced tea but tipped in nickels. "Excuse me," a smooth voice said, low and polished. Maya glanced up, her polite smile freezing. Standing there in a crisp, tailored suit, hair neatly combed back and eyes sharp with intent, was Harvey Whitmore. Gone was the rain-soaked mess she'd dragged off the sidewalk. He looked composed, powerful, like a man who owned the room and everyone in it. The bar went still. Anthony peeked over his monitor at the front desk, and Carla, the morning housekeeper, suddenly found an urgent need to wipe the countertop nearby. Maya's fingers clenched the napkin. "I believe I owe you a proper thank you," Harvey said, his voice carrying a quiet authority. "Looks like you're walking just fine," she replied, her tone even. "I'd say the cab did its job." Harvey stepped closer, undeterred. "It wasn't the cab that saved me that night. I didn't do anything anyone else wouldn't have done," she said, folding her arms across her chest. "Then it's a shame no one else did." His gaze flicked around the room, then back to her. "I looked into you, Miss Williams." Maya's stomach tightened. "I'm sure you did. You dropped out of college at 19 to care for your mother. You've worked 3 jobs at once, kept this place running while the manager skimmed money under the table and paid for guest damages out of pocket more than any employee should. You even covered my cab fare when you thought I couldn't handle it." She narrowed her eyes. "You're making a lot of assumptions." "No," he said gently, "I'm stating facts." A long silence stretched between them. Then Harvey pulled a slim leather folder from his coat and placed it on the counter. "I own this property," he said, "and several others. But this one, the Velvet Lantern, it's been on the chopping block for a while. Underperforming, poor management, low returns. I was ready to liquidate." Maya swallowed hard. "If you're firing me, you came overdressed." "I'm not firing you," Harvey said. "I'm offering you ownership." The napkin in her hand tore in two. "What?" she said, louder than intended. He didn't flinch. "You're the only reason this place hasn't collapsed. The only reason guests still check in. I've run the numbers, watched the surveillance from that night. You didn't have to do what you did. You could have left me on that sidewalk like everyone else." "People don't just give away motels," Maya said, her voice tight, "especially not to waitresses in the Bronx." "People don't usually save billionaires from freezing in the rain," he replied. She stared at him, unsure whether to laugh or scream. "So this is some rich man's redemption tour?" His smile faded. "This isn't about guilt, it's about recognition." "I don't need your recognition," she said, her voice steady. "No," he said quietly, "but you deserve it." The folder remained untouched. She looked at it like it might bite. "I need time," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You've got it," Harvey replied, sliding the folder closer. "Everything's in there, legal transfer, debt clearances, renovation grants. My lawyer will walk you through every detail. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. But I hope you won't." He turned to leave, then paused. "There's something about you. You don't wait for permission to do what's right. That's rare." And then he was gone. Maya stood motionless, the folder a silent challenge on the counter. Carla muttered, "You gonna open that thing?" Maya stared at it. "I don't even know what's in it." "You just got handed a miracle, girl," Carla said, shaking her head shaking. "Might want to see if it's real." Later that night, after locking the front doors, Maya sat alone in the empty lobby. The folder lay in her lap, unopened. She glanced at her phone. No messages, no missed calls. Her mother was asleep at the care home, and the silence made the walls echo louder. She opened the folder, her heart pounding. Inside were documents stamped and signed by lawyers she'd never met, a title transfer, a breakdown of cleared debts, a renovation budget, a training grant, all under her name. On the final page, a handwritten message. "You gave a stranger a chance. Let this give you one. HW." Maya closed the folder, pressed her palm against it, and exhaled. This was insane, impossible, but maybe, just maybe, it was real. And if it was, her life was about to change forever. She didn't sleep that night. Lying on her futon in her apartment above the laundromat, the scent of dryer sheets faint in the air, her thoughts spun. A motel, her motel. No one gave away power like that without strings. Yet the paperwork was thick, notarized, undeniable. Harvey Whitmore hadn't just made an offer, he'd set it in motion. She picked up her phone and called her mother, her voice soft over the line. "Maya, baby, it's 2 a.m., her mother said, her voice raspy with sleep. "I know," Maya whispered, "but what if something big happened? Something impossible?" Her mother chuckled, a fragile sound. "Did you finally win that lottery?" "Worse," Maya said, tears in her throat. "I think someone gave me a motel." A long pause. "Well, damn." The next morning, Maya walked into the Velvet Lantern, not as a waitress, but as its potential owner. The air felt heavier, the chandelier above the lobby swaying with a judgment she hadn't noticed before. Anthony raised an eyebrow as she stepped behind the desk. "You opened that folder yet?" "Yeah," she said, her voice steady. He whistled, a low whistle. "So what now?" Maya didn't answer. Instead, she opened the office door behind the lobby, a room she'd only glimpsed when Carl, the former manager, emerged in a haze of cigar smoke, barking about liquor shipments. The space was musty, stacked with invoices, broken chairs, and a calendar from 2014 pinned to the wall. She took a slow breath and stepped inside. For hours, she sorted files, checked vendor lists, and called numbers on bills. Some were disconnected, others answered with vague voices. By noon, she'd confirmed 3 vendors didn't exist: Elmidge Holdings, Metro Fire Systems, and Nash Financial Group. Invoices showed thousands spent on services never rendered. Cleaning, HVAC diagnostics, fire safety upgrades. It wasn't just disorganization, it was deliberate. At 3 p.m., she called Harvey's legal representative, Brenda Whitlow. A calm voice answered, "Brenda Whitlow speaking." "This is Maya Williams," she said. "I was told you're handling the Velvet Lantern transfer." "Yes, Miss Williams. Everything's in order. We're waiting on your signature." "Yeah," Maya said. "Why would someone gift me a business drowning in fake expenses and phantom vendors?" A brief pause. "Mr. Whitmore believes in second chances. He also believes in your capacity to fix what others broke." Maya's voice dropped. "I'm not here to clean up a mess rich men made while looking the other way." "Then don't," Brenda said calmly. "Make it yours. Burn what you need to. Rebuild." That night, Maya stayed late. She poured coffee from the front desk pot, pulled the blinds in the office, and laid out every invoice on the floor. Around midnight, Carla appeared, holding a Tupperware container. "Figured you'd still be here," she said. "I made sweet potatoes. Want some?" Maya looked up, exhausted but grateful. "Please." They ate on the floor, surrounded by paperwork. "You really going through with this?" Carla asked. "I don't know yet," Maya admitted. "Part of me thinks I'm crazy. The other part, I think I've already started." "You always were the only one around here with any damn sense," Carla said, rolling her eyes. Carl didn't like hearing it. Maya smiled faintly. Carl didn't like anyone questioning his cigar budget or cash drawer shortages. "You take this place over, Maya, and people will back you. The right people, anyway." Maya looked around the office, this neglected room that had once been the motel's heartbeat. Now it pulsed with possibility. The next morning, she returned with fresh clothes, a notebook, and a list. She met with every staff member individually, asking questions, listening. Carla and Anthony were supportive. Miguel, in maintenance, scoffed at a waitress playing boss. But Maya didn't flinch. On Friday, she posted a notice on the bulletin board. "Effective immediately, the Velvet Lantern is under new ownership. We rebuild from the inside out. If you're in, I'll see you Monday at 9 a.m. If not, I wish you well. Maya Williams. She didn't sleep much that weekend. On Monday, she stood at the front desk with coffee, a clipboard, and her heart pounding. At 8:57, Carla walked in, wearing faded sneakers and new lipstick. At 9, Anthony arrived with spreadsheets. At 9:05, Jenny from housekeeping came in quietly, nodding once. By 9:30, 12 employees had returned. Maya stood before them, barely breathing. I'm not a CEO, I'm not a miracle worker, but I'm here, and if we build this right, none of us will go home ashamed anymore. Silence. Carla clapped once. Anthony followed. The room filled with applause, not loud, but solid, real. Maya exhaled. The rebuild had begun. The first week as owner felt like fixing a sinking ship in a hurricane. The boiler failed on Tuesday. A delivery truck missed Thursday's shipment. A guest in room 206 claimed a ghost stole her earrings, though Maya suspected a dripping ceiling. Yet, something stirred. Staff showed up early. Jenny stayed late to reorganize supply closets. Even Miguel fixed a pipe without complaint. There was a heartbeat, faint but growing. On Wednesday, Maya noticed a name repeated across invoices, Briarstone Holdings. It billed for everything, pest control, elevator maintenance, but she'd never met a representative. The amounts, always just under $5,000, felt too consistent, like someone avoiding scrutiny. She dialed the number listed. A robotic voice answered, "This number is disconnected." Her pulse quickened. "Carla," she called, "you ever hear of Briarstone Holdings?" Carla frowned, wiping flour from her apron. "Yeah, Carl mentioned them when the books didn't add up. Never met anyone from there." "Digging into old ghosts?" she asked. "Maybe," Maya murmured, "or something worse." That night, Maya spread every invoice on the office floor, marking patterns with sticky notes. 3 names emerged: Briarstone, Nash Financial, and Eastgate Logistics, billing thousands for services she couldn't verify, all tied to Carl's tenure. She found a locked cabinet, its key hidden in the lounge couch. Inside were handwritten ledgers, listing transactions absent from digital records. One page, marked Laundry Service Diversion, detailed payments to accounts that didn't in any vendor list. Her breath caught. This wasn't mismanagement, it was laundering. Her phone buzzed. A text from Anthony. Some guy in a suit came by asking about the new owner. Said he was a friend of Carl's. No card, just a weird vibe. Maya didn't reply. She locked the ledger in her bag, her hands trembling. This wasn't just her fight. She'd inherited a battlefield. The morning sun filtered through the velvet lantern's lobby, casting long shadows across the freshly polished floor. Maya stood behind the front desk, sorting reservation cards, but her eyes kept drifting to the glass doors. The air felt heavier today, the motel's pulse unsteady, like a heart skipping beats. Last night's discovery, the ledgers, the fake vendors, the text about a stranger, had left her sleepless, her thoughts tangled in a web of suspicion. She'd hidden the ledger under a floorboard in her apartment, but the weight of it followed her. Carla bustled in, carrying a tray of peach scones for the breakfast nook. "You look like you saw a ghost," she said, setting the tray down. "Not a ghost," Maya replied, her voice low. "Something worse." She told Carla about the ledgers, keeping her voice hushed. Carla's face tightened. Carl always had that smirk, like he was untouchable. "You think he was in deep?" "I don't know," Maya said, "but someone was using this place to hide money, and they might still be watching." Carla crossed her arms. "What's the plan, boss?" Maya hesitated. "Boss." The word still felt foreign, but it steadied her. "We keep moving forward, but we stay sharp. Eyes open, ears on. Anything strange, deliveries, visitors, calls, you tell me." Carla nodded, her jaw set. "You got it." By noon, Maya was back in the office, her laptop open, cross-referencing vendor names. Briarstone Holdings led to a P.O. box in Delaware. Nash Financial was a dead end, its website a blank page. Eastgate Logistics had an address in Midtown, but a quick call revealed it was a shared office space, no trace of the company. Her head ached, but the pattern was clear. Someone had siphoned millions through the motel, using fake invoices to mask the flow. She called Brenda Whitlow again. "Did you or Mr. Whitmore ever look into Carl's financials before the transfer?" A pause. Mr. Whitmore was advised to walk away clean. He didn't want baggage. "Well," Maya said, her voice sharp, "he gifted me more than a motel. I think someone laundered money here and they're not done with it." Another silence. "I'll inform Mr. Whitmore," Brenda said. "But be careful, Miss Williams. People who set up schemes like that don't like the lights turned on." Maya hung up, her hand pressed against the file cabinet. She wasn't just fighting for the motel, she was fighting for her life. That afternoon she gathered the staff in the lobby. The chandelier flickered, but no one joked. "I need to tell you something," she began. "The velvet lantern was used for more than hospitality. Some vendors we paid don't exist. The money went somewhere else." Silence. Anthony's face paled. "You think Carl was in on it?" "I don't know," Maya said, "but if we ignore it, we're building on poison." Carla spoke first. "So what do we do?" "I need eyes, ears, stories," Maya said. "Anything strange? Carl's late-night meetings, sketchy deliveries, names? Write it down. Tell me. We piece it together." Jenny raised her hand. "There was a guy a few months ago, called himself Mr. V, drove a black BMW, came in late to meet Carl, said they were discussing expansions. I didn't trust him." Maya's spine stiffened. Mr. V. She added it to her mental list. That night, she stayed late, her laptop open, digging through public filings, LLCs, and obscure business records. Deep in a whistleblower thread, she found a comment. "Briarstone's a front. Check who's behind it. Guy with initials VK." Her heart thudded. She copied the thread into her proof folder. She didn't know how deep this went, but she'd found the rot, and she wasn't stopping. 2 nights later, Maya was at the front desk, pretending to sort mail, her eyes on the doors. At 9:42 p.m., they opened. A tall man in a charcoal suit entered, his cologne sharp, his smile cold. "Evening," he said, his voice smooth as glass. "We're full," Maya said, stepping out. He chuckled. "I'm not here for a room, just wanted to see the buzz." "Do I know you?" she asked, her voice steady. He leaned on the desk. "Call me Vincent." Her throat tightened. VK. He pulled out a black card, gold embossed with just Vincent. "You've been busy," he said, "calling vendors, digging files. Most people would burn those." "I'm just running a motel," she said. "No," he said, eyes narrowing. "You're playing detective in a story you don't understand." She held his gaze. "Why are you here then?" His jaw twitched. "Smart girl, but smart doesn't always mean safe." The air shifted, heavy with threat. He turned and left, the door chime echoing. Maya walked to the office, her hands shaking. "Anthony," she said, "call Carla. Change all locks tomorrow, front, back, everything. And I want cameras by the weekend." "Was that him?" Anthony asked. "Yeah," she said. "Vincent Carver." The next day, retaliation hit. The freezer failed, spoiling food. A fire inspector cited violations for equipment that had passed weeks ago. A delivery truck cracked the dock, the driver claiming faulty brakes. By afternoon, Maya's hands trembled as she filled out forms. Carla sat with her. "This ain't random." "I know," Maya said. "It's a warning." That night, she met the staff, told them everything. "He's not here to negotiate," she said. "He's here to bully, and when bullies feel you, they hit harder." Miguel muttered, "We could lose everything." "We could," Maya agreed, "but if we stay silent, we lose more." Anthony asked, "What's your plan?" "Tell the truth," she said, her voice firm. She called Harvey. His voice was tired, heavy. "You gave me this motel," she said. "Did you know what was behind it?" "I suspected," he admitted, "but I told myself it wasn't my problem anymore." "It is now," she said. "Are you helping or walking away?" He exhaled. "Tell me what you found." She did. Every name, file, visit. I'll call someone I trust, he said. Someone who doesn't owe Vincent a damn thing. Outside, trash swirled in the wind. Maya stood in the motel's threshold, watching clouds build. The storm was coming, but she wasn't alone. The morning of July 7th, 2025, dawned clear over the South Bronx, the sky a pale blue that seemed to hold its breath. Maya stood at the Velvet Lantern's front desk, her coffee cold, her eyes scanning the lobby. Today was the day she'd turn the motel's shadows into light. She'd spent the night finalizing her evidence, ledgers, invoices, screenshots, and a USB drive hidden under her floorboard labeled Insurance. At 11 a.m., she'd meet Sarah Monroe, a journalist with a reputation for dismantling corruption, at a diner in Midtown. Carla arrived early, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. "You ready for this?" she asked. "No," Maya said, "but I'm doing it anyway." She handed Carla a list of tasks. Monitor cameras, log visitors, keep the staff calm. "If anything feels off, call me." Carla nodded, her eyes fierce. "We're with you." At the diner, Sarah Monroe sat in a corner booth, her press badge clipped to her trench coat. She stirred her tea methodically, her eyes assessing Maya as she approached. "I've read your emails," she said. "Listened to your voicemails twice. What you've got, it's not small." "I know," Maya said, sliding a flash drive across the table. "That's why I needed someone with teeth." Sarah didn't touch it. "I'm Sarah Monroe, Bronx Gazette. 4 exposés, 3 lawsuits, 2 council members down. I don't scare easy." "I'm counting on that," Maya said. Sarah nodded, picking up the drive. "If I run this, it won't just take Vincent Carver. It could hit banks, people you work with. If they're guilty," Maya said, "let them fall." Sarah studied her, then pocketed the drive. "Buckle in." Back at the motel, the air was electric. No sabotage today, but the quiet felt like a trap. Anthony stayed late, checking cameras. Carla kept her bat by the laundry room door. Jenny walked Maya to her car. Maya worked tirelessly, reorganizing files, installing real cameras, rebuilding the supply chain. She renamed the office Operation Hub, a symbol of resistance. At 6 p.m., Sarah texted, "It's happening. Tomorrow, front page." Maya didn't sleep. At 7 a.m., the article hit. Local motel at center of multi-million-dollar laundry scheme. Sarah named names, linked invoices to offshore accounts, and exposed Vincent's network. It exploded online. By noon, Maya's phone buzzed with calls, TV stations, bloggers, locals asking about peach scones. Then 2 unmarked cars pulled up. 2 detectives entered, badges flashing. "Maya Williams." "That's me," she said, calm. In the office, they asked why she'd started. "Because nothing made sense," she said, "and too many people assumed I wouldn't ask." She handed over duplicate drives, gave Vincent's card. They left, and the staff gathered. "I'm not in trouble," Maya said. "They are." That night at the diner, Sarah sipped coffee. "You handled it like a pro," she said. "I was a waitress a month ago," Maya said. "Not anymore," Sarah smiled. Maya walked home, the sky clear, the city quiet. She paused at the motel, the new sign gleaming. The Lantern House, a place to belong. Inside, Anthony grinned. Channel 7 aired it. Your face, everything. Jenny added, "You looked powerful." "Terrified," Maya corrected, laughing. Later, alone in the dining room, she wrote a list. Legal rebrand, higher security, new sign, call mum, breathe. She exhaled that the motel wasn't just hers. It was hers. By afternoon, contractors lowered the old Velvet Lantern sign, its rusted letters groaning. The new sign, wrapped in canvas, waited. Maya hadn't told anyone the name. Harvey arrived, thinner, older, in a navy sweater. They met outside. "You did what I should have," he said. "No," Maya said, "I did what you were too scared to finish." He nodded, handing her an envelope. "Final transfer. Land's yours, no loopholes." She skimmed it. Clean, unconditional. "Thanks," she said. At the unveiling, Maya stood on a stool. "This isn't just a name change," she said. "It's a vow." She pulled the canvas, revealing the Lantern House. Applause rose, heartfelt. Carla wiped tears. Harvey clapped, then left quietly, his goodbye final. That night, a letter arrived, Black, silver inked, no return address. Inside, you think you've won. Don't mistake attention for protection. Maya added it to her threats folder called Sarah. They're still watching. Sarah arrived, reading the note. They're probing, she said. I'm not flinching, Maya replied. Maya firm. Sarah's next article wasn't about crime, but Maya, the woman who turned a motel into a haven. It went viral, drawing locals. Donations poured in, murals, checks, supplies. A judge wrote, "For the woman who reminded us of our worth." At dusk, a car stopped. Viola Carver, Vincent's sister, stepped out. "I'm not here to defend him," she said, "but I read what you've built." She handed Maya a pouch with $10,000 and a note. "Rebuild lasts." Maya nodded, the weight settling. Not fear, but purpose. That night, the Lantern House hosted its first community gala. Music spilled, kids danced, locals laughed. Maya took the stage. "When I was 12, I asked why our town was called rough," she said, her voice steady. "My mum said it's because people don't expect beauty. That's their loss." She looked at her people. Carla, hers. "You're the anchors." Applause rose, sincere. Later, on the porch with Carla, Maya sipped cider, smiling. "I'm thinking a scholarship fund," she said. "Lantern legacy." "You're not stopping," Carla said, smiling. "Not yet," Maya replied, clinking her cup. "To blueprints." The Lantern House glowed, a beacon in the dark, its light steady, unshakable, hers, a promise for all. If you liked this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with others so they can learn something from it too.